Everyone, I'd like to welcome you to the Macomb County Community Mental Health Full Board Meeting. And we'll begin by the reading of the mission statement, and Dana Frears is going to do that this evening.
Thank you, Kathy. Macomb County Community Mental Health, guided by the values, strengths, and informed choices of the people we serve, provides quality services which promote recovery, community participation, self-sufficiency, and independence.
Thank you. Next item is the adoption of the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Goldman.
I think it was motion by Lori, supported, or no, Dana, supported by Brian. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. Next is the hearing of the public. This is the opportunity for any member of the public to speak on any item that's on the agenda. You have 5 minutes to do so. Please identify yourself and your address, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who would like to address this board? If so, you can unmute and call attention to yourself. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this board? Okay, last call. Anyone from the public that would like to address this board at this time? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the rest of the agenda. And for anyone from the public, there is an opportunity to speak at the end regarding any topic you would like to. So next is item number 5, which is the approval of the minutes of the Community Mental Health Full Board Meeting that was held a month ago on November 24 of 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Plua.
Support.
Support by Schmidt. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved of the full board meeting. Next is item number 6, with the approval of the standing committee meeting minutes of the program and budget that was held on December 9 of 2020.
Move to approve, Bush.
Support, Phillips.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's the program and budget are approved. And next is item number 7, and that's a request to approve items that were discussed and vetted at the program and budget meeting a week ago. Those are items A, B, C, D, and E. A motion to approve.
To approve 7A through E. Schmidt.
Support. Plua.
Motion by Schmidt, support by Plua, to approve Brainer LMS, speech therapy services, marketing item with Entercom, WDIV, and Outfront. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Kathy?
Yes, Nick.
No, it's Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, I'm sorry.
Is there any update on the billboards and whether any billboards will be placed on Hall Road or in other Shelby Township, Macomb Township, so forth?
Hey, so yes,
Cynthia's here. Go ahead.
Dave, did you want to share the? Dave, did you want to share the?
Yeah, I'll give one quick update, Cynthia, is Ryan, we did find a website that shows the traffic flow specific to Macomb County, which was very helpful. So yeah, of course, Hall Road, M53, 94. So we will go for the biggest impact. I am also exploring geo mapping software, which we do not currently have, but it might be available to us through the county. I'll be following up on that. But the geo mapping software will allow us to look at where we have services, where people are coming from when they're seeking services, the zip codes and stuff. So we'll be able to focus on our marketing and outreach efforts a lot more in a planful fashion. So those will not be going up until later in the spring of next year. So we'll have time to plan and share that with the board.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Kathy? Kathy?
Yes, Linda?
Dave, I just, it occurred to me about Gratiot being on the list too. Think that was heavy concentration on Groesbeck, but I've ridden that fast bus that goes to downtown Detroit, and that's heavily traveled by people who might use our services. Gratiot, I'm just saying, make sure Gratiot's on your list to look
And
at.
we do signs on the buses and stuff too, I do believe.
Oh, right. Okay, good. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Cynthia, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got everything, Dave. I will say to your earlier point, if there are any, if the traffic does change, we will align the billboards along with that, but we'll reflect that in the springtime when the time is ready. I also do want to mention that I know there were some questions about the messaging in front of the billboards, and I will be sure to update you all as we delve into the marketing and the messaging so that you're aware and able to bring in any input before we push it forward.
Great, thank you. Anyone else on this issue? We'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving items 7A through E, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Next is item 7F, which is the Quality Assurance Performance Improvement Plan, which we had discussed at the program and budget, but no decision was made at that time, and it was forwarded to this meeting for request for approval. Could we have a motion, please?
Motion to approve, Schmidt.
Support from Kraft.
All right, motion by Schmidt, supported by Kraft. Any questions? Okay, looks like everyone looked at it. Hearing no questions, we'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next is item 7G, and this is a new item, and it's Macomb Premium Pay Extension.
So moved.
Motion by
Support, Philip.
Skill, support by
Philip.
Phillips. Thank you. Any comments or questions? Dave, do you want to just give a brief overview of that?
Yeah, I'll kick it off and then send it to Richard.
Thank you.
Of course, there's a timing issue related to this. I believe in the packet we shared the letter from the CEOs of the 10 PHPs supporting the extension of the premium pay and stressing the need for that. The state has yet to indicate if they'll be able to or do the extension through March of next year. We met internally, and Richard will give the dollar detail to it, but we would like the board's permission to continue the $2 an hour premium pay that's currently in effect through the end of March, whether or not the state of Michigan does that extension. Richard, you have more detail?
Yes, so we do anticipate that the potential cost is about $4 million for that 3-month period of January through March. And just as a reminder, we had this same request that came to the board in September of 2020 to extend for October, November, December in advance of identifying if there was going to be funding from the department. Ultimately, funding from the department did happen for that. And so in my mind, really what we're asking is that the $4 million that was approved in September for the first quarter, we're now going to reallocate that to now the second quarter, January, February, and March. So there really should be no net impact on this other than we just need formal approval from the board to proceed.
I'll move to make that formal.
I would support Klua.
I think we have a motion.
Yeah, I moved it.
We already have a
Oh,
motion and
okay.
support, but thank you. Then we know we have some more yes votes. Yes votes,
Yes, double down.
right.
Yes.
And any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The request for action has been approved, and you'll see that in the last paragraph on page 11. And next is item 8, to receive and file. I don't have anything. Dave, did anything come in this afternoon?
No,
All right. No resolutions?
nope.
And we do have the list of bills that need to be authorized. Motion to approve is in order.
So moved, O'Connell.
Schmidt, support.
Okay, O'Connell, supported by Schmidt. Any questions on the voucher listing? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Bills are authorized, or payment of the vouchers is authorized. Next is the management report. And we have 3 of them. Dave, do you want to introduce any or just, should I just?
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier. Richard is on the call with us today, but we do not have the official CFO report that you're used to every month. Given the timing of our meetings this month, the information was simply not available. So we'll be in the January meeting, we'll play catch up a little bit. Richard was here to talk about the premium pay extension. And I guess if there's any general finance questions, we could catch him while he's here with us. But outside of that, if there's no questions, we can go to Stacy Coleman, who's our Chief Privacy and Compliance Officer.
All right, I have a question. Seeing how, could we get the December report at the January program and budget meeting? And then get the January report at the January full board? Is that possible, Richard?
I think that's possible, yes. I'll shoot for, it'll be October's report at the January program and budget and November's report at the full board.
Yeah, that, I said the month, very good, thank you. We'll do that. All right, and then, yes, go on to Stacy. Thank you, Richard.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up my report for you, except it's not letting me see my screen. Just one second. There we go. This will be short. We won't take too long for you. Just a couple of pages to give you some updates. There's been quite a few changes relative to compliance. And it's spinning and spinning. It's not pulling up. I can just go ahead and give it to you verbally. In our compliance department, we've had some staffing changes. We now have 3 people working in the compliance department. Joined us as a compliance coordinator. We also have introduced Madison Ferlicki, who has joined us as a compliance assistant. Policy department has moved over under Adam Genovi, so he will be overseeing policy. Last quarter, we have also transferred the functions related to due process to our department. So I will be actually acting as a Medicaid Fair Hearings Officer for Macomb County Community Mental Health when cases go to Medicaid Fair Hearing. Lori Valueway, who processes our local appeals, will be working under me, as well as Anwar Gulati, who does our grievances. So those have all transferred under due process. In your report, you will see a write-up relative to our cases. We opened and closed since January of last year, 39 cases. We are trying to open and close our cases in 2 weeks, if at all possible. That is our goal, instead of having them ongoing. As I had indicated previously, our focuses are going to be fraud, waste, abuse, and privacy cases. We will not be opening cases that don't relate to those things. And our current reporting structure is now aligned with the Office of the Inspector General reporting structure that we're required to submit on a quarterly basis. There is a detailed summary of some of our larger cases that came through relative to cases where we investigated them and came up with what were fraudulent cases. There were several large cases that were identified. Two of those in particular required us to do what we're reversing claims. So it's not that we can take back the money on those, we had to reverse the claims. One of those was upwards of $53,000, and that was a relatively recent one. We are in frequent contact with the Office of the Inspector General through our quarterly meetings that we have with our offices. I also happen to be actively involved with the PIHP compliance officers meeting, who have identified one of their major focuses is going to be concerns related to compliance and self-determination, because there's a lot of concerns with some of those cases with regard to the lack of oversight and regulation, that those cases quite often come across our desk for compliance issues for fraud, waste, and abuse. Other than that, I wish you all a happy holiday, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Stacy, is the issue that you brought up tonight, is that different from the one you referenced last time?
It is different than the one that I referenced last time. The matter I brought to your attention related to the drop-in centers. Just as an update, I did meet with Aaron, our corporate counsel, and we will be going to the prosecutor's office and the police relative to that matter. I did want to let you know, though, we have filed a formal insurance claim, and because of the type of insurance policy, there is a good chance that we will receive those monies back.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Any other questions or comments for Stacy? All right, seeing none. Motion to receive and file the report is in order.
So moved.
Motion to receive.
I've got Sarah Material and Phillips again. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for the report. And then next is Dave, the CEO update.
Yep. Thank you, Stacy. I have my screen split, so I have some notes pulled up in front of me here. So, and as soon as I admit anybody, I lose my screen. So, wanted to thank Bob Sheehan and Alan Bolter from the Community Mental Health Association of Michigan. They've been putting out frequent updates about what's going on right now in Lansing during the lame duck session. And there is a current House bill and a Senate bill out that would extend the ability for local boards to continue to meet remotely for any reason through March 31st. It's waiting final approval, so hopefully they take action on that. And then we'd be permitted to continue to meet remotely through March. We've mentioned before the crisis stabilization units. There was no action last week. The issue remains on the Senate floor. But House Bill 5832 would create crisis stabilization units and modernize the mental health code regarding crisis services. So currently there's a lot of gray areas around pre-screening units, especially about holding people there. And at times using physical restraints out of necessity This would clarify all those gray areas and allow for those units to be established. They did add a couple of amendments. They would have to receive payment from the public mental health population, or they'd have to have agreements with the community mental health to allow management of risk and cost. They removed a requirement that required face-to-face psychiatric supervision because of the need for telehealth services currently. So that's active. PRTF, for another fun acronym, it's a psychiatric residential treatment facility for Medicaid people under the age of 21, and it's subject to the appropriation of sufficient funding. A lot of activity at the state level regarding children's services. This would add another Medicaid covered service to the continuum of care for children, where they could go into a residential, so out of home placement facility for treatment. The state's looking at setting those up themselves, but then we would be able to access those services from the local level. There's also a mental health first aid bill, that's Senate Bill 41, that would require mental health first aid training for teachers as part of their continuing education and professional development. We've seen and we're reading the mental health needs for children increasing significantly due to the pandemic, the social isolation, the change in their routines, the social media impact, everything that's going on in our world right now. So I think this would be a good step. Doesn't say exactly who would do those trainings. There might be a component in there for the community mental health, as we do have people trained to provide that type of, to provide the mental health first aid. There is another Senate Bill 898 that would give parity for telehealth services. So again, it seems, they're planning on kind of this type of situation continuing for the foreseeable future. The inpatient bed registry, or MyCal, that's the Michigan Crisis Access Line. I had a meeting at 4 o'clock today with the folks from the Staywell line, and I missed a meeting this morning. Well, I wasn't aware of it, so but they did send over information that I've not had the chance to review yet. But there is a difference between the Staywell line and the Michigan Crisis Access Line. So when I'm able to review that, I will share it out with the board members as well. We did distribute, we received about 5,000 face masks from the Macomb Community Action, and we're sharing that with community members. And in there will be some informational items about our services, and we're including some information about the Staywell line as well. And again, if people contact the Staywell line, if they need additional follow-up services and they're interested in doing that, there will be a referral mechanism back to our services or whatever local community mental health system they happen to be in. I heard from TJ, our mobile health unit is finished with the internal modifications. So he's doing a road trip again. I think the 28th or 29th of this month to retrieve it for us. So it will be back here by the end of the year. Next step is the graphic design and the wrap that'll go around the exterior. Cindy and TJ are working on that. Just wanted to thank all of our staff who planned our holiday week events that Tracy described last week so well, and those folks who participated in them. We do have we're doing a drive-in movie, socially distanced from your car, or through Zoom from your own home. So that's tomorrow night at 6. So thank you to everybody, and that's the end of my report. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Dave? No questions? All right, motion to receive, file the report.
So moved. Kraft.
Support Schmidt.
Okay, Kraft and Schmidt. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Report is received. And then we have item number 12, any additional possible agenda items? Before I take any comments from the board, there's just a reminder that our program and budget meeting is January 13, 2021. Any other agenda items from the board members?
Kathy, I have something I'd just like to make the board aware of or call their attention to. Tracy did a great job. The staff, that seemed like such fun, all the summer Christmas stuff they did. And they are collecting for all of our friends at, oh my gosh, what's that? What's the
Clubhouse?
The clubhouse, for the clubhouse. And they are looking for socks or personal care stuff or gift cards. And so if any of you want to jot a piece of paper, jot a note, and go buy something, I would be glad to pick it up and take it over to the administration building.
Great, thank you.
Will we be able to get a calendar of the dates for the year the way that we did last year?
Yeah, Selena, is that you?
Yes, it is.
You are very distorted.
Sorry about that. Can we get a calendar of all the dates for the year?
A calendar? You want a copy of the calendar that for next year?
Kathy, she wants a calendar that says all the meeting dates for the year, like we had last time. That's what she's asking for.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. I appreciate that.
I can make it
I
up.
can't hear Selena. So yes, that will be coming out. I think the reason there was a little bit of delay was because they're also working with figuring out if these will be in-person meetings or not. So we had to, is that correct, Phil? We had to, Phil Kraft, had to make sure that they were all coordinated.
That's part of the reason, because the Board of Commissioners, there's so many new ones coming in. We're going to have a new chair, new vice chair. Our dates and times for meetings may be totally different. So we don't figure that out for another couple weeks. And I know we're kind of dependent upon that as well. So a couple hiccups along the way.
Right. But I think for now, let's just assume that that's the second and fourth Wednesday will be our program and budget and full board. Just assume that will be for now. But it might be 4 weeks or so before we get the actual calendar. Is that correct, Phil?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, concerns, announcements?
I have something.
Yes, Tony.
It's very good news. I don't know how it affects us at the moment, but Easter Seals has just received a $15 million gift from the ex-wife of the owner of Amazon. That's Jeff Bezos. They're thrilled about it.
Wow.
They are thrilled that they got 15 million bucks. They have no comment on how they're going to spend it at all, or how we could actually benefit from it. But the reason I'm even bringing it up is I know they're one of our suppliers, one of our, yes. So that's just good news and something that we'd love to hear more of these days.
Sure. So you're referring to the national organization, not just the one with whom we contract, right?
Well, actually, we know that every state has some kind of an Easter Seals function in it.
Yeah.
I believe it was just the state of Michigan, and they were looking at community mental health.
Great.
I wonder how I listened on WJR.
In Michigan.
Well, we'll get more.
I don't know either.
Yeah, we'll get more information. I'm sure Dave will share it as soon as he's got it. Any other questions? Or comments, I'm sorry. All right, seeing none, we will move on to item number 13, which is the hearing of the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this board? This is your opportunity to speak. You have 5 minutes. Please identify yourself. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this board? Third request. And please mute yourself if you do. Unmute yourself if you want to speak. Okay. That we'll move on to item number 14. And just so you know, the January dates are scheduled. Those are firm dates. The Wednesday, January 13, and then 2 weeks later for the full board meeting. So a motion to adjourn is in order.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Phillips. Support by Phillips. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 This meeting is adjourned. Merry Christmas,